in making its decision shall be guided by the law and the evidence adduced by the parties. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to observe the strict 10-day timeline attached to the discharge of the mandate of the special committee. The special committee shall, in the conduct of this hearing, be guided by the rules of procedure set out in the 5th schedule of the Senate Standing Orders. These rules were served on the parties to those proceedings together with invitations to appear before this committee. Finally, honorable senators, ladies and gentlemen, you are all aware we are living at very challenging times because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Accordingly, we urge everyone to observe the Ministry of Health guidelines and protocols, together with the Speaker's guidelines on plenary and committee sittings. I urge you to always sanitize, keep social distance of at least 1.5 meters, and wear masks at all times. Further, sit only at designated seats. No changing of seats is allowed for the rest of the day. Honorable members, I would also like to urge you to ensure that wherever you move outside, you should ensure that you sanitize before you come in. This chamber can only allow a maximum of 28 members. Every party has been designated at least 5 seats, but we shall have different holding centers outside there, whereby your support team can retreat and sit in the holding center. We shall also be televising the proceedings of this meeting live in those holding centers. Therefore, nobody will be disadvantaged. But in case you need to exchange your seats with somebody who is in the holding center, your respective seats must be sanitized before the other person comes in. Otherwise, I wish you a fruitful engagement. I will hereby want to call upon the clerk to take us through the program. But just before that, I would want to emphasize on the issue of timing. As you have seen, I believe everyone has got the program. We shall start. We were supposed to start at 10. We started in good time. And at exactly 10:30, we shall be reading the charges to Governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru. And we shall expect Governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru to stand up and listen to the charges in silence. We shall not entertain any interventions during reading of the charges. The clerk will read the charges. Thereafter, at 10:50 a.m. to 11:20, we shall have consideration of preliminary matters, if any. If not, we shall proceed directly to opening statements on behalf of the County Assembly and opening statements on behalf of the Governor, which will take 40 minutes for every party. At 12:40 we shall have evidence by the County Assembly, evidence of witnesses, if any, cross-examination and re-examination. These will take a total of 3.5 hours. Though with the first presentation by the County Assembly, shall have a lunch break, but when we come back, we shall continue running time as allocated in the program. At 5:10 to 5:30, we shall have closing remarks for the days and way forward. Honorable members, tomorrow, we shall be sitting in the main chambers and we shall start our program at exactly 9 a.m., and we shall expect all parties to keep time. We shall start with the hearing of evidence by the Honorable Governor, Honorable His Excellency Anne Mumbi Waiguru, who will present evidence of witnesses, if any. We shall have cross-examination and re-examination. At 12:30 p.m., honorable members, we shall have closing statements on behalf of the County Assembly, who will be allocated only 30 minutes for the closing statements. Then we shall break for lunch, come back and have closing statements on behalf of the governor, again for 30 minutes. We shall issue concluding remarks and way forward for 30 minutes. Just as a matter of clarification, when the witnesses will be issuing their evidence, we shall allow honorable members at least 10 to 15 minutes to raise issues that they feel they want clarification on. And once they are responded to, we shall move to the next witness. I think that is it. Now I hereby call upon the clerk to read the charges. So Honorable Anne Waiguru, you'll be required to stand in silence. Thank you.
These are the charges against Honorable Anne Waiguru as presented by the County Assembly. We are reading the charges verbatim. Charge number 1, gross violation of the Constitution. Particular number 1, failing to deliver the annual state of the county address to the County Assembly. Whereas Article 179(4) vests chief executive power on the governor, and whereas Section 30, subsection 2K of the County Government Act requires the governor to deliver an annual state of the county address to the County Assembly containing such matters as may be specified in county legislation, the governor has deliberately refused, failed, and/or neglected to deliver the same for the financial year 2018-2019, which failure amounts to a gross violation of the Constitution and the County Government Act. By failing to deliver an annual state of the county address to the County Assembly, the governor's conduct amounts to violation of the doctrine of sovereignty of the people as enshrined under Article 11, 12, 13, paragraph A, B, and 4B, and further violating Article 2.1 and Article 3.1 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which respectively addresses the supremacy and the binding authority of the Constitution to all state organs, persons, and the obligation to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution from any violations or actions that may amount to an abrogation. The governor's failure to deliver an annual state of the county address to the County Assembly further amounts to the violation of the national values and principles of governance as enshrined under Article 10, and more specifically, her conduct violates the constitutional principles of patriotism, the rule of law, good governance, integrity, transparency, accountability, and sharing and devolution of power. The governor's failure to deliver an annual state of the county address to the County Assembly further violates Article 73(1)(a), as the same is inconsistent with the purpose and object of the Constitution, and the governor has failed to demonstrate the respect to the people of Kirinyaga County, while at the same time failing to bring honor and dignity to the office of the governor and to promote public confidence in the integrity of the said office. The governor's failure deliver an annual state of the county address to the County Assembly further violates Article 73(2)(c), which provides that the governor shall execute her functions through a selfless service based on public interest demonstrated by honesty in the execution of that public duty, as well as accountability to the public for decisions and actions. Evidently, the said failure demonstrates the governor's lack of discipline and commitment to the people of Kirinyaga County. Allegation number 2, undermining the authority of the County Assembly. Aware that Article 176(1) and 185(3) and 4 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 8 of the County Government Act, empowers the County Assembly to legislate and offer oversight as well as approving county plans and policies on the development and management of the county's county's infrastructure and institutions, and further aware that the import of Article 179(4) and 185(4) as read together with Section 32(f) and (j) of the County Government Act, which mandatorily requires the governor to submit the county plans and policies to the County Assembly for approval, and also submit to the County Assembly an annual report on the implementation status of the county policies and plans, and whereas Section 8 of the County Government Act requires the County Assembly to inter alia offer oversight and approve county development planning as submitted by the governor pursuant to Section 32(f) and (j) of the County Government Act, and whereas the functions laid out under Section 30, subsection 2(f), (j), and (k) can only be elucidated when the governor addresses the County Assembly, that the governor's failure to comply with Section 30, subsection 2(f), (j), and (k) of the County Government Act 2012 not only undermines the power and the authority of the County Assembly to offer oversight and approve various developmental plans, but also greatly clogs the wheels of the Wanjiko's oriented development in Kirinyaga County. Particular number 3, violations under written law. A, violation of Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, Public Finance and Management Act 2012. The governor has violated Section 46 of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act 2015 by usurping the powers of the county officer in establishing of the accounting officer in establishing an irregular tender evaluation committee composed of the governor's partisan staff, namely Pauline Kamau and Geshira Wayne, who directly take instructions from the governor and conveniently alternate as chairpersons of all major tender evaluation committees, contrary to Article 73, 1B of the Constitution, so as to act as a conduit to award tenders to the governor's preferred bidders. The governor said actions tenders to the governor's preferred. The governor said actions of interfering with the constitution of the tender evaluation committee is meant to compromise the integrity of the tendering process, and the same is driven by nepotism, favorism, improper and ulterior motives, and for corrupt purposes in complete disregard of the provisions of Article 73(2)B and Article 73(2)C. The governor has been in charge of a corrupt county tendering policy contrary to the provisions of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, and thereby violating the following provisions of the Constitution. 1, Article 201A, D, E of the Constitution of Kenya, which requires that there be openness and accountability, including public participation in financial matters, and requires public money shall be used in a prudent and responsible way. And 2, Article 227(1), which requires that when a state organ or any other public entity contracts for goods and services, it shall do so in accordance with a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective, which principles were violated by the governor. The following tenders are evidential of the governor's interference with the tendering process of the county government of Kirinyaga. To wit, 1, tender number CGK/SCM/CTIED/OT/004 2018-2019 of Kenyan shillings 19,145,740, tender on evaluation report for proposed upgrading of Kagumo Market at Kagumo Town, Kirinyaga County, prepared on 20th December 2018. This tender was awarded to Joames Investment Limited, but without following the due process, and the award to Joames Investment Limited having not been cancelled, the tender was unilaterally undertaken by Master Rock Construction Company, whose bid was non-responsive, thereby violating the Constitution and the Public Procurement and Asset Act 2015 and the regulations therein. Number 2, the tender number CGK/MSPH&S/OT/023/2018-2019. Tender on the evaluation report for proposed indefinite quantity framework agreement for non-pharmaceutical, prepared on 10th January 2019. Number 3, tender number CGK/TR&PW/OT/016/2017-2018. Tender for construction of Kagio Matatu Parking Phase 1, Lot 1 in Kiine Ward, March 2018, reserved for AGPO category. This tender was reserved for AGPO, but the same was awarded to Gypsy Civil and Building Contractors Limited, which company is not listed in the AGPO certified list of 2017-2018. Suffice to note that the evaluation committee noted that Gypsy Civil and Building Contractors Limited was not AGPO certified, yet they went ahead to find the bid responsive. Whereas Rawamu Holdings Limited, bidder number 7, which was AGPO certified, posted the lowest responsive bid of Kenyan shillings 29,661,872 shillings and 80 cents. However, the tender committee chaired by the governor's partisan staff, one Pauline Kamau, recommended the award of tender to be given to Gypsy Civil and Building Contractors Limited at Kenyan shillings 30,097,476. Number 4, tender number CGK/TR&PW/OT/013/2017-2018. Tender for construction of Kagio Matatu Parking Phase 1, Lot 3 in Mutithe Ward, March 2018, reserved for AGPO. This tender was reserved for AGPO, but the same was awarded to Tafes and Nitram Enterprises Limited, which company is not listed in the AGPO certified list of 2017-2018. Suffice to note that the evaluation committee noted that Tafes and Nitram Enterprises Limited was not AGPO certified, yet they went ahead to find the bid responsive. Whereas Jones Investment Limited was AGPO certified, posted the lowest responsive bid of Kenyan shillings 10,908,361 and 60 cents. However, the tender committee chaired by the governor's partisan staff, one Pauline Kamau, recommended the award of tender to be given to Tafes and Nitram Enterprises Limited at Kenyan shillings 10,841,244 shillings, yet their bid was not responsive. Number 5, tender number CGK/MOW/OT/038/2017-2018. Tender for the proposed waterworks for Mwea Makina Water Project, March 2018, reserved for AGPO category. This tender was awarded to Eva Trading Agencies Limited, a company associated with the family of Mogondathi, the Chief Finance Officer, who is a brother to Edwin Gishobi Ndathi, who holds 300 shares in the said company, in total disregard of conflict of interest and in furtherance of a corrupt and joint criminal enterprise overseen by the governor. The tender committee chaired by the governor's partisan staff, one Pauline Kamau, recommended the award of tender to be given to Eva Trading Agency Limited. Number 6, tender number CGK/MOW/OT/039/2017-2018. Tender for the proposed waterworks for Yagishero Irrigation Water Project, March 2018, reserved for AGPO category. This tender was awarded to Eva Trading Agencies Limited, a company associated with the family of Mogondathi, the Chief Finance Officer, who is a brother to Edwin Gishobi Ndathi, who holds 300 shares in the said company, in total disregard of conflict of interest and in furtherance of a corrupt and joint criminal enterprise overseen by the governor. The tender committee, chaired by the governor's partisan staff, 1 Pauline Kamau recommended the award of tender to be given to Eva Trading Agencies Limited at Kenyan shillings 9,942,022 shillings, whereas Value House Limited posted the lowest responsive bid of Kenyan shillings 9,633,550. Number 7, tender number CGK/MOE/OT/036/2017-2018, tender for the proposed waterworks for South Ngariama Water Project, March 2018, reserved for AGPO category. This tender was awarded to Eva Trading Agencies Limited, a company associated with the family of Mugondathi, the chief finance officer, who is a brother to Edwin Gishobi Ndathi, who holds 300 shares in the said company, in total disregard of conflict of interest and in furtherance of a corrupt and joint criminal enterprises overseen by the governor. The tender committee, chaired by the governor's partisan staff, 1 Pauline Kamau, recommended the award of tender to be given to Eva Trading Agencies Limited at Kenyan shillings 11,943,820, whereas Tonjim Investment Limited posted the lowest responsive bid of Kenyan shillings 11,615,880. Number 8, tender number CGK/MOW/OT/037/2017-2018, tender for the supply and delivery of assorted UPVC pipes for Kenera Water Project in Morinduko Ward, March 2018. This tender was not reserved for AGPO. Therefore, the company that was given the tender ought to have been in business for at least 3 years before it could be considered to tender for services under the tender category. Hamfel Limited was incorporated on the 28th December 2017 and was awarded the tender on 26 March 2018. Whereas the company did not possess the National Construction Authority certification for waterworks category, at the same time did not provide a performance bond, neither did it produce the financial audited accounts for the previous 3 years endorsed, signed and stamped by a registered external auditor. The tender documents presented did not meet the requirements for consideration and award of tender. However, the Tender Evaluation Committee, under the auspices of the governor's partisan staff, 1 Pauline Kamau, recommended that the award of the tender be given to Hamfel Limited. Number 9, tender number CGK/MSPH and S/OT/023/2018-2019, proposed indefinite framework agreement for supply of non-pharmaceutical. 2 Race General Supplies Limited was paid an amount of Kenya shillings 8 million without any supply being made, thus exposing the county to loss of public funds, contrary to the provisions of the Constitution and the Procurement Act. And number 10, tender number CGK/ICT/OT/047/2017-2018, tender for the design, development, installation, and commissioning of integrated hospital management information system. This tender was awarded to Velocity Partners Limited, a company that did not exist as at the time the tender was advertised for tendering, and thus a fictitious company. Suffice to note that the tender for the design, development, installation, and commissioning of integrated hospital management information system had been completed by the previous county government. Nevertheless, the tender was re-advertised and awarded to Velocity Partners Limited at a cost of Kenyan shillings 50,691,565, and the same was paid despite there being no work done. The contract signed between the county government of Kirinyaga and Velocity Partners Limited in the month of May 2018 was for Kenyan shillings 27,203,450, and the total amount paid out by the county government of Kirinyaga amounts to Kenya shillings 50,691,565, an indication that the said contract was intended to siphon public funds through a corrupt and a fraudulent scheme overseen by the governor of Kirinyaga County. That the said Velocity Partners Limited was paid as follows. Void invoice dated 9th August 2018, amount invoiced totaling to Kenya shillings 30,643,575 was paid on the same day of the invoice to Velocity Partners Limited. Number 2, void an invoice dated 11th December 2018, amount invoiced is Kenya shillings 6 million paid on the same day of the invoice. Number 3, void invoice dated 22nd January 2019, amount invoiced is Kenya shillings 8,607,300 paid on the same day of the invoice. Number 4, void invoice dated 24th January 2019, amount invoiced is Kenya shillings 5,440,690 paid on the same day the same was invoiced. Number 6, that the total amount paid to Velocity Partners Limited of Kenya shillings 50,691,565 was deposited at their bank account number 103-602-002262 held at CDN Bank. The manner in which the amounts were invoiced and paid out to Velocity Partners Limited is evidence of the criminal enterprise headed by the governor intended to defraud the county through a skewed tendering process. Tender number 11, the tender to procure the governor's vehicle at a cost of Kenya shillings 15 million was irregularly awarded despite the same having been procured during the previous county government regime of His Excellency Joseph Ndathi. Moreover, this purchase was made using funds meant for contractors' retention account, which action amounts to misappropriation of funds and imprudent use of public resources and in furtherance of the corrupt practices. The Assembly's attempt to oversight this matter through has yielded any results as letters to executive have gone unanswered. The second charge, abuse of office and gross misconduct. Number 1, the governor has violated Section 46 of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act 2015 by usurping the powers of the accounting officer in establishing an irregular tender evaluation committee composed of the governor's partisan staff, namely Pauline Kamau and Gishira Wayne, who directly take instructions from the governor and conveniently alternate as chairpersons of all major tender evaluation committees, contrary to Article 73(1)(b) of the Constitution, so as to act as a conduit to award tenders to the governor's preferred bidders. The governor said actions of interfering with the Constitution of the Tender Evaluation Committee is meant to compromise the integrity of the tendering process, and the same is driven by nepotism, favorism, improper and ulterior motives, and for corrupt purposes in complete disregard of the provisions of Article 73(2)(b) and Article 73(2)(c). By usurpation of the power of the accounting officer under Section 46 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, the governor has violated 1, Article 201A, D, E of the Constitution of Kenya, which requires that be openness and accountability, including public participation in financial matters, and requires public money shall be used in a prudent and responsible way. 2, Article 2271, which requires that when a state organ or any other public entity contracts for goods and services, it shall do so in accordance with a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective, which principle were violated by the governor. Particular number 2 under charge 2, the governor used her office to improperly confer a benefit to herself when she was irregularly paid for travel allowances by way of interest, amounting to Kenyan shillings 10,634,614, yet she did not travel. The payments were made as follows. 1, that on the 18th June 2018, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 165,375, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 2, that on 6th September 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 300,000, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 3, that on 29th October 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 43,800, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 4, that on the 8th January 2020, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 943,700, which amount was paid on the same day. Number 5, that on 23rd October 2018, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 1,107,364, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 6, that on the 15th January 2020, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 300,000, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 7, that on the 25th February 2020, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 1,125,440, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 8, that on the 23rd August 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 1,001,910 shillings, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 9, that on the 30th June 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 2,600,297, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 10, that on the 14th June 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 455,000, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 11, that on the 18th February 2019, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 989,961, which amount was paid out on the same day. Number 12, that on the 18th June 2018, the governor invoiced the county for Kenyan shillings 1,601,767, which amount was paid out on the same day. And number 13, the amount of Kenyan shillings 10,634,614 was paid to the governor's personal account in the name of Anne Mombi Waiguru, account number 18029017480, held at Equity Bank. But allegation number 3 under that charge, that there was established the Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority by the County Assembly via Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority Act, which enacted the board to chair the said authority. That, however, the County Public Service Board directed that the said board members should not be paid until their salaries have been approved by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission via circular. However, the governor did not take the said recommendation and has continued to have the board of KIDA paid out outside the IFMIS and county government payroll, which action amounts to an abuse of office, and the same has contravened the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission Act. Further still, interest amounting to more than 14 million was paid out to Mr. Francis Muredhi Kariuki on instruction by the governor, which interest is yet to be accounted for. And particular allegation number 4 under this charge, violation of the right to health of the people of Kirinyaga County. The governor, by her conduct, either omission or commission, has caused the health sector in Kirinyaga County to run into disarray and into a deplorable state that has compromised and undermined the realization of the right to highest attainable health standard of the people of Kirinyaga as enshrined under Article 43(1) of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Governor, you may sit. Honorable members, it's at this juncture that this honorable committee is ready to hear any preliminary matters, if any, from either sides. Do we have any preliminary matters from?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That is from the County Assembly?
The County Assembly.
Okay. Will we be having any preliminary matters from Governor Waiguru's side?
Chairman, we have 3 issues that we wish to take up with you.
Okay. We have 30 minutes to consider all preliminary matters, so I'll request that you be brief. We shall start with the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
Thank you, Chair. With your kind permission, allow me to bring 2 preliminary issues regarding the documents that were filed and served upon us.
Can we see him, or can that file be? Thank you.
Proceed.
Chair, we were served with a file that contains the travel documents relating to the charges that have just been read. Chair, my application for this preliminary issue is premised on Article 50 of the Constitution that requires all parties to be granted a fair hearing. It's again premised on Article 47 that provides that parties or an individual shall accorded an expeditious, fair, and reasonable administrative process. We are raising an evidential issue regarding the evidence that has been provided to us relating to the travel of the governor. Chair, it has become difficult for the members of the County Assembly to respond substantively by the granting and the provisions of the documents that have been provided unto us. I am referring to an extract of the governor's passport that appears, if you may allow me to fetch it, Chair, that appears as annexure number B in that particular file.
Do we have the files here? Director? Do you have the files here? Okay, honorable members will be served with the files in a short while, so you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. That document, which indicates or serves to demonstrate some of the travel in question, relates to a travel that was undertaken by the governor to the US, then to China, or rather something cancelled, to France. That document is not clear to us, as it is not able to clearly indicate the entries and the exits in respect to those particular countries in issue. Further, Chair, we would also wish to be supplied with a clear original copies of her diplomatic and personal ordinary passport, so that we are able to discern these particular travels. Further, Chair, in our charges, there is a clear and concise particulars of the charge, that the governor drew some interest. In their response, Chair, they have given us a receipt dated the 17th of April 2020. The said receipt is not clear. It is an indication of a particular payment to a particular bank, and as such, the same compromises and prejudices the case for the County Assembly of Kirinyaga, insofar as the same is not clear. Chair,
It's not clear in which way?
Yes.
it's not readable.
Okay.
It's not readable. We are not able to deduce the content, the purpose of the payment, the bank that the same was paid to, so that then we are able to have a rigorous response to the same. Chair, I think those are the plenary issues that I would wish to raise at the moment. I seek your direction.
Okay, I'll give the lead counsel from Honorable Waiguru's side to respond.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to respond to the issue that has been taken up by my good and learned friend for the County Assembly. And Chairman, as an initial response.
You may move closer to the mic.
Is that any better, Chairman?
Yeah.
Chairman, as an initial response to the issue that is taken up by my learned and good friend for the County Assembly, I want to put it on record that the governor has no issue to prove in this matter. It is for the Assembly, who are the governor's accusers, to prove the allegations. And the governor, at the invitation of counsel for the Assembly, cannot then become an accomplice in the process of proof against her. It is the Assembly that framed the charges against the governor. It is the Assembly that, in its wisdom, chose to frame the charge that the governor had not traveled. I posed the question in response: what was their evidence that the governor had not traveled? The governor's responses cannot then become evidence for the Assembly. Having said that, Chairman, we are able to within a reasonable time frame and in the interest of justice, to provide clear and legible copies of whatever documents my good and learned friend for the Assembly is unable to discern or deduce. I forget the word that he used. So if perhaps through either the chair or the clerk to this committee, we can be given the particulars of those documents, we can share with them, or we can share with the committee within a reasonable time. I'm most grateful, Chairman.
Thank you. I think this is how we'll move on. We will listen to the preliminary objections raised by Governor Anne Waiguru's side, and then we shall have a response from the County Assembly, and then this honorable committee will retire to make a ruling on both preliminary matters that have been raised by either parties. Thank you.
Chairman, thank you very much. I have three issues: one preliminary issue, and perhaps two housekeeping issues, which, with the permission of the chair, I will take up during this time.
Okay,
and I will start with the housekeeping issues first. Chair, you will note that the allegations against, or the response to the allegations that have been made against the governor are contained in several documents. Some of the documents are the documents that caused my good and learned friend discomfort. These documents are bulky, and noting that, Chair, you had directed that you would wish this matter to proceed expeditiously. And Chairman, noting the peculiar circumstances in which the world finds itself and the restriction to the number of people who are allowed in this chamber, Chairman, on behalf of the governor, I would wish to request a special dispensation for the attendance of one extra person on our side for the purposes of assisting with the documents. Our task today is to test evidence, and it is to test evidence by way of cross-examination of the evidence that will be led on behalf of the Assembly. And for us to do that, and for the governor to then access her right to a fair trial, which, Chairman, you guaranteed that she would enjoy, we request for a special dispensation of just one additional person. The second housekeeping issue that I wish to take up with the committee is, Chairman, we note from the summons issued by the committee, and there were summons that you referred to in your opening speech, one Mr. Joseph Karilas Otieno has been summoned at the request of the Assembly. Chair, that Mr. Joseph Karilas Otieno is a witness who has written a statement and who has produced many documents on behalf of the governor. My request, Chair, is that for good order, instead of having him testify today for the Assembly and tomorrow for the governor, since he had initially been produced as the governor's witness, the committee allow him to testify tomorrow for the governor, and any issues that the Assembly wish to elicit through him as evidence can be taken up as cross-examination. The third issue I wish to take up, Chair, is an objection that we have. And, Chair, I wish to start urging my objection by stating that it is our sincere belief that our objection is well-founded, not just in the standing orders of this House, but also in the Constitution of this Republic. Chair, pursuant to Rule 4 of Part 2 of the 5th schedule to the standing orders of this House, on the 17th of March this year, the governor received an invitation from the Speaker of this House to participate in these proceedings. Chairman, together with the invitation, the Speaker supplied the governor with the communication that he had received from the Speaker of the Kirinyaga County Assembly, and in that document, which is this document, Chairman, in that document, other than the communication from the Speaker of the Kirinyaga County Assembly to the Speaker of this House, were the charges that the clerk has just read out, and, Chairman, evidence in support of those allegations. And I will emphasize, Chair, at this point, that what was supplied was the allegations or the charges and the evidence in support. Chair, I will take, with your permission, a little of this committee's time and just put on the record of this committee the evidence, because it is important for our objection, the evidence that was supplied by the Speaker of this House to Her Excellency the Governor. Other than the motion by David Kinyua Wangui, the following documents were supplied. There were evaluation reports, and in the interest of time, I will only cite the tender numbers in respect of which the evaluation reports were supplied. Chair, it was tender number CITG/CITED/CITED/OD/004-2018-2019. That was the first document that was supplied. The second document, the second evaluation report that was supplied, was in respect to tender number CGK/MS-PH@S/023/2018-2019. The third document that was supplied was an evaluation report in respect of tender number CGK/TR and PW/OT/016/2017-2018. The next document that was supplied as evidence in support of the charges was tender number CGK/TR and PW/OT/016/2018 oblique OT oblique 013 oblique 2017-2018. The next one, again, was an evaluation report in respect of tender number CGK oblique TR and PW oblique OT oblique 016 oblique 2017-2018. The next document that was supplied is tender number CGK oblique MOW oblique OT oblique 038 oblique 2017-2018. The next one, Chairman, was tender number CGK oblique MOW oblique OT oblique 039 oblique 2017-2018. The next one, Chairman, was an internal memo on the professional opinion for tender number CGK oblique MSPH and S oblique OT oblique 23 oblique 2018-2019. And the last document that was supplied, Chairman, was a contract between the County Government of Kirinyaga and Velocity Partners Limited in respect of tender number CGK oblique ICT oblique OT oblique 047 oblique 2017 and 2018. And again, Chairman, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I will state that though that was the only evidence that was supplied in the notification or in the invitation to appear that we received, or that Her Excellency the Governor received from the Speaker of this House. Chairman, may I proceed?
Yeah, proceed.
In compliance with Rule 6 of Part 2 of the 5th schedule of the standing orders of this House, Her Excellency the Governor responded to the allegations contained in this document on the 20th of June this year. Chairman, on the 20th of June this year, pursuant to Rule 7, and wrongfully so, as I will establish in a moment, the County Assembly served on Her Excellency the Governor this unintelligible mass of documents. I say unintelligible, Chairman, because it is a combination of statements, it is a combination of evidence, it is not indexed, it is not paginated, and Chairman, we have struggled to make sense of this unintelligible mass of documents. But Chairman, our comprehension of what this document contains is as follows. Chairman, this document contains 4 witness statements. Witness statements, the first one is a witness statement by one David Kinyua Wangui. The second, Chairman, is a witness statement by Dr. Gaur Godi Kirit Kumar. The third witness statement is by a lady called Wanjiru Njeru. And the fourth witness statement is by a lady called Agnes Gachoki. Chairman, the objection that I wish to urge before this committee this morning is as follows. Those witness statements and this unintelligible mass of documents contain new evidence. And Chairman, I submit and I will return to standing order number Standing Order number 19 in Part 2 of the 5th schedule in a moment. These documents are new evidence within the meaning of Standing Order number 19 of Part 2 of the 5th schedule of the Standing Orders of this House. Chairman, I wish to demonstrate what I mean by new evidence. And I will ask, perhaps, the chairman, if you are able to make sense of these documents, to walk with me through these documents as I demonstrate why we believe that these documents contain new evidence.
Yes, Council, in the interest of time, I give you 5 more minutes.
I will endeavor. I will endeavor to demonstrate my point in 5 minutes. Chairman, I wish to refer you first to paragraph 6 of the witness statement of David Wangui. In paragraph 6, the allegation that is made against Her Excellency the Governor is that she has never given an annual State of the County address. That is the allegation in the witness statement. It is important to note, and I wish to refer you to the, again, the document is not paginated, so it will be difficult to point that out. But on the 6th page, the first paragraph, under the heading gross violation of the Constitution, and under the paragraph number 1, which says failing to deliver the annual State of the County address to the County Assembly, in the last sentence, this is what the allegation is. It says that the governor has deliberately refused, failed, and or neglected to deliver the same for the financial year 2018-2019. Never is not the same as 2018-2019. What the governor has responded to is that she did not do it for the year 2018-2019. Never, as contained in this statement, is an improvement. And it is an improvement that is contrary to the rule that I pointed out, Rule 19, and I will demonstrate in a moment that that rule is very well founded in Article 50, Subarticle 2B of the Constitution of this Republic. Chairman, in paragraph 8 of the witness statement, in paragraph 8, there is the allegation that the governor has been flaunting her statutory role and procedure by failing to assent to bills.
Well, point of order, Chair. It would be
Yes, Senator Kajwang.
It would be important that we're on the same page. So when Council refers to a specific page or statement, it would help us to be there, because I think all the 2 cases you cited, I personally am fairly lost. So you could guide that we are pointed to the specific document that is referring to.
Do we now have the file? I think it's on this file, huh? Is it this one or the?
Chairman, my file looks like this. It looks like you have been able to bind yours, but mine looks like this. And I don't know, because I don't have a bound copy, I don't know what page it appears on, and that is why I identified it by the name of the statement maker.
So I will request the Secretariat to help honorable members identify the specific document the Council is referring to. So the Secretariat, you may help the members. Honorable members, I think look at page 3 of the document. Witness statement by one David Kinyua. Yes, page 3. You may proceed, Council.
I am grateful, Chairman. Chairman, I was stating that in paragraph 8 of that witness statement, there is the allegation that the governor has undermined the authority of the county assembly by failing to assent to bills. Chairman, members of this committee, you will note that that allegation does not appear in the motion. The particular in the motion is that the governor undermined the authority of the county assembly by failing to deposit with the Assembly policies and plans for the Assembly's approval. Chairman, the point I make is that the motion that the governor has responded to is not the motion, or is not supported, or the evidence in the documents that were served on the 20th on the governor seem to seek to improve those allegations. And they seek to improve the allegations to the governor's detriment, because the governor, whereas she may have responses, and I state on her behalf that she does indeed have responses to those allegations, but those responses are not before this committee because she had no notice, as she is entitled to, by Article 50, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution of this Republic. And, Chairman, I just want to cite two more examples to demonstrate that the additional information is introduced to the governor's detriment if she is unable to respond. There are letters that are contained in this unintelligible mass of documents, and I don't know where they are in your bundle, so I will identify them by date and author and subject. The first letter is a letter from the Office of the Controller of Budget. It is addressed to Her Excellency the Governor, and it is in respect of comments on the financial year 2020-2021, Kirinyaga County budget. And of importance, Chairman, this letter is dated the 10th of June this year. I say it is important because the Assembly impeached Her Excellency the Governor, my client, on the 9th of June. It is clear that in presenting these additional documents, the Assembly seeks to improve the quality of evidence against the governor. The second letter that is produced in that unintelligible mass is a letter from the County Public Service Board to the Sectoral Committee for Public Service, Kirinyaga County Assembly. Again, of importance, Chairman, this letter is dated the 15th of June 2020. Governor was impeached on the 9th of June. Chairman, as I wind up my objection, I wish to just re-emphasize the provisions, or what Rule 19 of the second part of the fifth schedule of the standing orders of this House provides. In presenting its evidence, and I emphasize evidence, Chairman, the Assembly, and that is why we are here today, so that the Assembly presents evidence. In presenting its evidence, the Assembly shall not introduce any new evidence that was not part of the allegations against the governor by the County Assembly, and again I emphasize the following part, as forwarded by the Speaker of the County Assembly to the Speaker of the Senate. Chairman, this is the motion against the governor. This is what the governor has responded to. This is what the County Assembly of Kirinyaga used to impeach the governor. This unintelligible mass is not properly before this committee. I urge that you direct that it be struck out, and that the motion, as it was prosecuted before the County Assembly and forwarded by the Speaker of the Assembly to the Speaker of this House and forwarded by the Speaker of this House to Her Excellency, is what is before you. That is what we have responded to, and that is what we shall proceed on. Unless, Chairman, you have any questions you wish me to answer, that is the extent of my objection.
Thank you. I will invite Mr. Ndegwa to do a response.
Thank you, Chair.
I would encourage you to be brief.
I will. Thank you, Chair. You've been invited to look at the document my senior learned friend is holding as intelligible or intelligible, or as he says it or describes it. The County Assembly wishes to distance itself with the content held by our senior. For one reason, and my senior has actually noted the same, that we are having well-bounded document, quite legible and quite clear to direct this distinguished committee as to the evidence that we shall be adducing. You have been read to look into the statement by a witness who happens to have been the mover of the motion. He further goes to look at the content and the particulars of the charges that were brought or that as against the governor. And to him, the governor chooses to look at the motion as a piece of evidence. The motion, as filed, is merely illustrative of the charges that the governor faces. This motion, Honorable Chair, is akin to a charge sheet in a criminal procedure. However, I am alive to the fact that in the case of Wambora, Civil Appeal number 24 of 2014, the Court of Appeal did mention that governor's impeachment proceedings are sui generis in nature. Sui generis in nature in the sense, Honorable Chair, that the rules as we know them in civil procedure and criminal procedure are not so static in these processes because it is a fact-finding mission. And such, Honorable Chair, I find the objection unfounded on the point that the governor cannot choose to look at the particulars as against the evidence. In any trial, and this is a quasi-judicial trial, there is always the particulars of charge framed in a manner that is so precise, so clear, and so concise for the person being charged to understand the particulars. He cannot then take the motion and juxtapose it, suppose the same as against the evidence. When we were invited by the Senate, via a letter dated sorry, I'm trying to find out the date. When we were invited by the Senate, though, by a letter dated the 17th of June, this House was alive to the fact that the motion must be traced and must be supported by the evidence, and as such, evidence was then called thereto. The statements being impunged, or the statement being put under trial, is that of the mover. He has adduced evidence to answer charge of the governor undermining the authority of the assembly. Unless the governor wants to convince this committee that the motion itself is a full house, full contained with the particulars of evidence, then that would suffice. But it would be in violation of Article 50 of the Constitution for him to choose to look at it from that perspective. Article 50, which is overriding to these proceedings and which is binding to these proceedings, has created an avenue for parties to adduce evidence so as to prove their case. Honorable Chair, as I sum, you have been invited to look at our evidence as additional evidence. The evidence before you in that bound document is the evidence that was used to prosecute the governor at the County Assembly of Kirinyaga. Suffice to note that despite or in spite of an invitation being extended to the governor never responded. The governor even never wrote a letter back to the County Assembly saying, I am not able to attend to the trial. This is an afterthought that the governor has brought up. He's clinging on very, very weak grass And we urge the committee to apply the oxygen principle, which provides that in a committee of this nature, which is quasi-judicial, the oxygen principle shall be applicable. The oxygen principle calls upon the committee to look at the delivery and execution and adjudication of substantive justice. And the oxygen principle, Mr. Chair, has actually been incorporated in our Constitution under Article 157 that provides the question of procedural technicalities. Even in our normal court practices, the courts have moved away from looking at the document from a technical perspective. And the courts currently are concentrating at the question of delivery of substantive justice. The statements by the other three witnesses, that is Dr. Gore, the other one by Wanjiro, and the Daktari, and they are documents or evidence that will adduce evidence towards the allegations of the governor running down the institution of health. I know what is giving them probably some issues is on how to defend that evidence. We urge the committee to allow the documents, to look at them as documents that facilitate the delivery of due diligence, due process of the law, to look at the documents are the ones that will facilitate the committee to arrive at a justicious position. We are all here before the committee looking and seeking for justice. The governor needs justice. The people of Kirinyaga, whom the county assembly represented and whom they voted a score of 23 in an assembly of 33, are here seeking for justice. We urge the committee to overrule the objection and allow us to proceed to the crux of the matter. They will be granted an opportunity to test the evidence. We shall call the witnesses as guided by the Senate, and we confirm that there is no new evidence that has been provided. This governor has not produced any document where she acknowledged the receipt of the evidence as at served by the county assembly at the time of the service. Much obliged, we seek your guidance.
Chairman, just a brief response.
1 minute.
1 minute. The submissions by my learned and good friend put Dr. Okello sitting next to you in an awkward position because Dr. Okello is my witness. I only agreed to take this unintelligible mass of documents because Dr. Okello gave me his assurance that these were the documents as he had received them from my good and learned friend. And he gave me a further assurance that no additional documents, because you can do anything with a bunch of documents like this. He gave me the further assurance that the documents that would come before this house would be the documents as presented. So my witness as to the state in which I received these documents, Chair, is sitting to your left-hand side. The right that the governor asserts is a right in Article 50, Sub-Article 2, and that is the right to know 2B. She has a right to know the case against her. It cannot confront her here, and that is the right that we assert. This is a truth-finding exercise. We don't deny that. It is not a fishing expedition. The evidence cannot increase with every passing day. Chairman, we wish to assert the provisions of Rule 19. It is additional evidence, and nothing has been spoken in respect of that. The oxygen principle doesn't apply to Rule 19 because Rule 19 is not a technicality, it is substantive. It is substantive because it seeks to ensure and protect an impeached governor's right under Article 50, Sub-Article 2B. I'm most grateful, and I hope I did not exceed 60 seconds, Chairman.
Thank you, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. At this juncture, the committee shall retreat and consider the matters raised by both parties, and we shall come up with a concrete determination in form of a ruling and communicate to this honorable gathering in 30 minutes. However, on the first issue that you raised, wanting us to allow one extra person, I think I'll use my discretion as the chair to direct the Sergeant at Arms to look into the protocol issues and find ways in which you can allow that very important person who will come and help in the documentation as requested by the lead counsel. Honorable members, we shall retreat into our committee room to make a determination of this matter, and we shall be back in 30 minutes. Thank you. We carry our files, huh? Yes. This one, I think you carry this one, the big one. Yeah, you carry all the actually belong. Or we carry all. We carry all.